5358. Again, that's 352-351-5358.
And don't forget, we also do men and children's cuts too. 351-5358.
Hello Gorgeous is conveniently located in the heart of downtown Ocala.
So call today and set up your appointment at Hello Gorgeous Salon at 351-5358. That's 351-5358.
Hello Gorgeous.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
All right, 24 minutes before 11 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. You know, not tomorrow, Monday, Friday is the first day of November.
Yes,
right?
it is.
Okay, so what happens for me, the way my mind works, is that means we're like almost up to Thanksgiving. Mm-hmm. And that means I'm going to be with family, and that family includes people who've been around many, many years. Yes. And some family who just came into the world like last year. You know?
Yes.
So you get the whole age spectrum, okay? But I want to talk to you about the ones who came in like 15, 16, 17 years ago. Mm-hmm. Because there's an interesting thing that happens when somebody from your family happens to work in radio. There's always somebody who says, because at that point in your life, you're 15, 16, 17, you're thinking, what do you want to do, you know, with the rest of your life? What do you want to do, right? Mm-hmm. And they look around, they see, well, Dad's a fireman, you know, mom is an executive or something. And, hey, my uncle does radio. That sounds fun, right?
Yes.
So next thing you know, they're asking you questions about what you do for a living. And you know, with any career, really, there are pros and cons, right? Mm-hmm. I really think the true secret is what's inside of you. You know?
Yeah.
What you enjoy doing has to come from inside of you. So even if it looks, and trust me, there's nothing glamorous about this. They always say it looks glamorous, so they'll say that, right? So yes. Tamara S. Raymond is on the phone. I believe this book might be what I need to bring with me to the Thanksgiving Day dinner. I need to bring a few copies because honestly, this says it. This will tell the teenager, well, radio might be for you, but maybe there are other things you should consider, you know? So let's find out about that. Tamara is a certified leadership development and career coach, an advocate for youth development and mentoring. This is right up her alley. A speaker and an award-winning author. Her book is called Careering, the Pocket Guide to Exploring Your Future Career. Oh my gosh, that says everything right there. Tamara Raymond, it's an honor to have you on the show. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Virginia.
Virginia. How is Virginia today? Cold?
Nice and chilly.
Nice and chilly. See, I wanted to rub it in because, you know, we're in Florida, so.
I'm so jealous. I know. I'm thinking, oh, I wish I could be there alive.
See, I like doing that, but here's the truth. Don't tell anybody, but the truth is, I'm jealous of you because I want to be. I miss the cold weather. Both Robin and I are from up north, so we miss it sometimes.
Really?
Yeah. I know it's hard to believe, right? You miss it. You do miss it after a while. So you know that's kind of goes hand in hand with getting a career going for yourself because a lot of times the job you want might mean that you have to move to a different place.
Yes, it does. It might mean you have to move to a different place, sometimes even a different state, or for some, a different country.
Yeah. One of the things I remember when I was a kid was the guidance counselor aptitude test. And that was supposed to be the thing that helped her, I had a female guidance counselor, tell me what I should be studying so that I could pursue that as a career. Do they still do that in schools?
They do that in some schools, but the good thing is that now young people are being allowed to take more accountability and responsibility when it comes to their future.
And I think you are proof of that because you went to college for psychology and then you ended up going into the mentorship and the business field. That must have been scary to switch careers like that.
It was terrifying. And, you know, even starting out, my parents would have loved for me to be a doctor or an engineer. So even studying something else was a bit out of the box.
So how did you decide, I mean, in your own case, how did you figure out what direction you wanted to go?
I actually fumbled through a lot of what I put in the book. I didn't know that what I was doing at the time was exploring, but it was. So it turned out I was fortunate enough to be able to explore, take on internships, and do other things like that, so I could get a better idea as to whether or not I was actually interested in something. So, because something might sound glamorous or fun, or somebody else might love their job or what they do, and that's all good and great, but it didn't necessarily mean it was the right fit for me.
Yeah, and that's the hard thing. It's hard enough to figure it out for yourself, but if you're trying to do it for somebody else, if you're trying to figure out, like, what I always think when you look at old home movies, when a child is little, you almost can see what they're going to be when they grow up. They're playing with horses or they're playing with cars, and you know what I mean? That kind of gives you a clue, right?
Yeah, it gives you a clue. So you have an idea of what you might be interested in, right? So you have your interest, what comes naturally to you or what people come to you for, which is a good place to start. But then the question becomes, is this something that you want to keep as a hobby? Or is this something you're willing to commit to for at least a portion of your life, right?
Right.
So that's where exploring comes in, like actually doing it.
And that's what's wonderful about your pocket guide is you have tips on each chapter, and then at the end of the chapter, which is very short, you allow the reader to write down their wants, their career goals. You take them into the sports realm, into the business realm, to actually try to get them to narrow down what it is that they really, really have a passion for doing.
Yes, and also make use of the resources that they have available to them, most of which they might not even realize.
But you know what?
So you mentioned... Go
ahead, I'm sorry.
You mentioned the young people who might want to do, might want to work in radio. Well, that's great, but try being an intern and see if it is what you thought it was.
Correct, yeah.
Exactly.
No, that's a really good thing. Do you know what I like about what you're saying, though? Even the conversation is helpful. Even if there are no conclusions that are drawn, just talking to somebody young and getting them to start to think about the fact that this is an important decision, even if they don't come to a decision, it's an important conversation. And that's why I think the book, I'm not kidding, I think we should all have several of these in our back pocket when we go to the Thanksgiving dinner.
I think so. It's a good idea.
And it's small enough to fit in your back pocket. It's a little tiny book.
It literally does, yes. And that was intentional, because it's not intimidating. I wanted it to be approachable. There's already enough anxiety around the idea of trying to figure out your career or what you want to do next. But, I didn't want this to be one of those things. And kids these days already have so much going on. How can they just incorporate it into their life without sacrificing their grades or adding, one more thing to the 1,000 other things they have to do?
And you also do a mock interview as to what kind of emotional questions to expect.
Yes, and how to answer them. So there's how you dress, how you behave even, walking into the interview, being respectful to everyone. Things that, some of them may come across as common sense, but you'd be surprised. When I was recruiting, I had someone walk in and was very rude to me because I happened to be at the front desk.
Oh, gosh.
And then I showed them to the conference room, let them know the vice president would be with them shortly. And I heard him mention to her that the director of human resources would be with her shortly. Needless to say, when I walked in, her face fell, and that was a really short interview.
Well,
good for you.
You taught them a lesson. That's what I think. Tamara, I love what you're doing. I love the fact that you're working with young people to get their mind thinking about what they should do. The one thing also that I think is an interesting part of this, and I know we don't have much time, but a lot of times it's not always college that gets you the job. I mean, I guess most of the time it is, and that's probably the good advice, but sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's work experience.
Absolutely. I think work experience is key. Because for what you want to do or what you end up liking, so you want to be a mechanic, a traditional college isn't for you. You know, that might be a vocational training school or program. And even if you end up going to a four-year college, what type of four-year college? So if you want to be a mechanical engineer, you know, a liberal arts college might not be the best fit.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. I have a copy of the book here. I will buy my own copies, plural. You've got 5-star ratings, and if like 40 people reviewed the book and gave it 5 stars. That's pretty good. You can get the book on Amazon. Do you have a website, Tamara?
Yes, I do. If you go to thecareeringbook.com, that'll get you there. So it's TheCareeringbook.com, and you'll find lots of helpful information and tips there. Not only for young people, but if you're a parent wondering, you know, how to broach some of this with their teens, or, you know, you're a family member who wants to have the conversation, there's helpful tips for you there as well. And even for people mid-career who are looking at, well, I want to transition and freelance, what does that look like?
Yeah,
so
right.
It's all there for you.
All right, Tamara, stay warm up there in cold Virginia. Thank you for being on the show with us. That was good information.
Thank you so much for having me.
We'll be right back.
The College of Central Florida is committed to being your first choice for quality higher education. CF has locations in Marion, Citrus, and Levy counties and offers more than 60 academic programs. Earn a certificate,